morning, YouTube. I'm back. I'm going to tell you about my day today. Today is the what is it? It's Thursday, the 22nd of June, I think. Just looking at my notes. Yeah, that's right. Okay, I'll tell you about today and a few other bits and pieces that I thought about telling you. So first of all, I started off by waking up in my van, having slept in the back of the van with a pallet on board. I was able to get my camp bed put out at the end, not quite flat, but flat enough to get some decent sleep. So I was out of bed and I just parked around the corner from the site I was delivering to near Oban. So I popped over and got there for 7:40 this morning. There was a bit of faffing around while they found the person I needed to go to and where I had to go to, and by the time we'd handballed off the load at the right place, it was about 8:05. And so I then made my way from Oban towards Edinburgh to do my pickup from my regular shipper. And at this point, I want to share with you my thoughts about the trip going eastwards last night. When I was going from Middlesbrough to Oban last night, I managed to leave about 4:30ish in the afternoon, and I knew that by the time I got to Oban, about 5 hours later, that I would be still having some sunshine. So I was going to see the sun go down. And as I was dawdling towards Oban, I got north of Glasgow, I crossed quite a wide river, and then sort of headed north and then east towards the Oban area. If you know Scotland better than I do, you'll know where I am. The point is, it was going into the Highlands north of Glasgow, going eastwards. And I have been there once before, but it was many years ago. It was on a family holiday, and this time it was on my own. It was sunny, I was in a good mood, and I was driving along these nice roads, looking at scenery, and I thought, what a beautiful place this is. And I was looking at the houses and looking at the countryside. I was thinking, I wonder what it's like to live here. It looks really nice. The houses are quite private, set away from the road. You've got your own bit of land. And so when I got to the other end, I rang my better half and asked her to look at what holidays in Scotland, in a cottage in Scotland. So at the weekend, when I get back, we're going to be looking at booking a week in a Scottish cottage in the Highlands. Probably October, when all the schools have gone back, so it's quieter and cheaper. That's the main thing, I want it to be cheaper. And we're going to use that chance to just explore the area a bit more and see what it's like, a bit more in depth than me just popping over for a day and a night. I am mindful that I probably was looking through rose-coloured tinted spectacles at it. That's why a week's holiday here might give us better insight as to the pros and cons of living in a place like that. Okay, so back to what I did today. So I was driving to Edinburgh. I eventually got there. Lots of roadworks around Edinburgh at the moment. Probably, I imagine there always will be. Found the place I'm going to pick up, and then handballed the stuff onto the van. And then I started making my way south, and I had two choices at this point. I'm going to call them Plan A and Plan B. My Plan A was just to head as soon as I could down to High Wycombe and tip my load, and then get from there back home as quickly as possible. My plan B was, well, while I've got some space in the back of the van and I've got all this distance to travel and therefore time, I could pick up some co-loads, make some more money. But what that would mean is I would miss the depot closing at the end of my route, which would mean I'd have to tramp outside the depot and tip tomorrow. Now, my usual instinct is to maximise the amount of money that I'm earning in this job. But I have learnt over the last few months, when I've tried to do that, about half the time I get myself into a bit of a pickle. Either I'm rushing or I'm making mistakes, or I misjudge where I'm going, or it's more stressful. And although I do make more money, I probably feel that it's not in the whole scheme of things worth it. And so today, after a bit of mulling it over, and I was looking at potential co-loads on the way down, there were 4 bids that I put on for co-loads between Edinburgh and Manchester. While I was travelling between Edinburgh and Manchester, that were anywhere between Scotland and going to London, really. Whilst I got to Manchester, I thought I'm not going to bother. So I didn't get any of those 4 quotes, and so I decided I would just do this option A. I'd just not try and push it, just get myself to the drop-off point as soon as possible, and then get home tonight. And I'm not even going to be looking for work going back from Harwickham to home. So, in order to do that, I basically travelled on the motorway at 70 miles an hour. I left Edinburgh. By the time I loaded up everything, I left Edinburgh, and by the time I got to the outskirts, it was about 12 o'clock. About 10 past 12. And then I had a 7 and a bit hours journey on the sat-nav to get down to High Wycombe. And when I left, my estimated time of arrival was 7:20 when I first left Glasgow. So I first of all decided I would go at 70. I don't usually do 70, as you can see from this, what I'm doing now. And then also when I got to the relevant point, the M6 toll road, I chose to take the toll road because that was going to take 20 minutes off my journey. So that, if you don't know, that costs £13.60 for a van of my size. And I did save 20 minutes, and I did get to the depot in time. Now you will have noticed in the time of doing this video a noise that my van is making every so often, and this leads me to another story. Well, another bit of today's experience anyway, not really a story. I'll go back a step. You may remember from about a week ago I replaced my tyres, which cost me £460 for 2 tyres. They were Goodyear Vector tyres, all-weather tyres. And then about 3 days ago, Monday, I heard a big sound like a stone hitting my windscreen while I was driving up to one of my jobs. I couldn't see any damage anywhere. I had a good look and there was nothing there. I thought, oh, that's lucky, I thought. And then the day after that, I noticed right at the bottom of my screen quite a big crack, which had appeared since I'd driven that day. It wasn't there originally, and then by the next morning it had appeared. So I kept an eye on it. If I'm honest, it's, I think, just outside the scope of my steering wheel, but it's probably just on in line with my left hand, as just the left hand side of the steering wheel. And so I thought, oh, that's going to need replacing at some point. Now the day after, so this would be probably Tuesday, it got a bit bigger. And I thought, oh no, this is getting worse. And I thought, I can't stop and ring anyone now, my insurance company now, after the end of the day. So I was thinking, well, I'll see how long it lasts for. The basic point is, today it got worse again, and so I had to ring and get a replacement done. And I did it through my insurance company because there was a number to call and I couldn't think of it. I didn't know who else to call directly. I mean, Autoglass is the place you call, but I thought, I don't know how much they're going to charge, and I haven't got time to mess about, so just do it through my insurance. And I rang the number on the insurance policy, just go straight to Autoglass. So I got them to sort out a replacement for me. I was very disappointed because they're not going to be able to do it until the 4th of July. And I think the reason is that when they asked me, is it within my eyesight, I said it wasn't. And I think that if I'd said it wasn't within my eyesight, they might have prioritised it sooner. But I did explain to him that this is a working van and I can't have it getting worse and lose money. But for the time being, I would have to wait till the 4th of July for it to be replaced. So I'm not working on the 4th of July. He did say if it gets really bad, to bring us back and we can reprioritise it, which I wasn't going to argue with. I thought, well, fair enough, but I'd like to be reprioritised now. So anyway, I'm not impressed with the service, but I think that's the way of the world nowadays. Service level seems to be getting worse, and that's not the reason for this noise. Yeah, so the point of me saying this is today I got a warning light that came on the way down, and it said exhaust filter blocked, drive to clear. And so I thought, well, I am driving, so I'll keep doing that then. It'll clear it, hopefully. And at this point, I better say to you, I am not mechanically minded. I don't know anything about vans. I know enough to maintain it, because I've seen videos, but when it comes to repairs, I've got no idea. And if you told me what it was, I wouldn't even know what to do with it. It's going to a garage, they can look at it, I'll pay a man to do it. Anyway, so soon after that one light came on, and another one, the one that's going on now came on, which is Airblue system warning, service required. And then the Airblue light came on, and it said I've got 479 miles to go. And I thought, oh god, that seems more serious. And I had put Airblue in about 3 days ago, so I didn't think it was that problem. So I tried to ignore it, which is what I usually do, but I know you shouldn't. And they kept coming up and telling me X number of miles to go. Now the problem is, I reckon I can get back to the depot today and back home alright on 479 miles, but I can't do tomorrow's work on that. So the today was me trying to get my head around the fact that I can't work tomorrow, and I've got a job that I should be doing, and that job that I'm doing is worth £310. So I had to get myself into the mindset that I wasn't doing that tomorrow. There you go, there's the sound again. Airblue system malfunctions, it's service required. And for the sake of argument, I've got 477 miles to go. Oh yes, that's interesting. I'll come back to that in a moment. So I had this going on, so I was quite glad that I did just go straight back to the depot and not try and do plan B. So in the end, me taking the option that I wouldn't usually take was the best option, because it would get me home today safely. So I've got back to the depot, I've unloaded, and I explained to the person who gives me the work I have to have a van in for a service tomorrow because of this reason. I won't be able to do the work tomorrow, but can I do it either Saturday or even maybe next week? And she said that's fine. That's what I love about this job. It's so flexible. I did ask if she's got any work for next week come up yet, and she said not yet. So it gives me a bit of a breather to get this last one done for this week, and then have a think about what I'm doing next week when that comes. I then went, after I tipped to the petrol station and filled up with more diesel, and I thought, oh, at this point I'll put some AdBlue in just in case that's the problem. So I did carry some AdBlue with me. I put a 10 litre bottle of AdBlue in. I took it all, got in my van, and at first I thought that had done the trick. But obviously, you can tell from this video, it hasn't. But what the interesting thing was, it had reset the number of miles to go. So it went back to 495. That was the original one, which I had when I was on the way to the depot. So putting AdBlue in has reset the AdBlue distance I can travel. So I didn't know that would do that. So I am now on my way back home, and that was my day. The Edinburgh job, so I just did 2 jobs, neither of which, well, no, actually the first one was CX job from yesterday, but the second one, the main job today wasn't a CX job, and I wasn't able to get any CX jobs I bidded on today. There was a reasonable number I could bid on. I said 4. There was lots of other jobs that I could have perhaps gone for, but so yeah, so that's today. The number of miles on the CX app for my job today from Edinburgh to High Wycombe was 385. I did that for £400, and it was a medium wheelbase job. So today I've done 2 jobs that earn me money, and so I'll use that to tell you my stats for today. So I've done it as though I've got home in terms of my time and my mileage. So by the time I get home, I will have worked today 14.5 hours. I will have driven 626 miles, 626, and the average fuel for me this week is 14.28 pence per mile. I've had now 3 fill-ups of fuel, so that's a pretty good average. So using that average and the mileage I've done today, the total amount of fuel I've spent today is £89.39, which, because I've got a gross earnings of £670, 6,790, means I have net earnings of £581 after fuel, but I did spend £13.60 on a toll. So I take off, say, £14. That leaves me with £567 net today after fuel and tolls. 567. I want to finish off my video because I am mindful that this is meant to be for people who are inexperienced, and so I have a slightly, I suppose, playful approach to this. If you're new, I'm calling it Courier Bingo, and it's the things that you will come across for the first time when you start doing this job, and the more of them you do, the more experienced you become. And there'll be people out there who've done all of these things loads of times. I've done all but 2 of them, and there'll be loads of stuff that I've missed off. So I've started looking at it, and I thought I could be really comprehensive, but I just wanted to do it in terms of someone who's new, and sort of give you some idea as to sort of things that kind of what the exciting things you do when you first start. So this is my version of same day Courier Bingo for new drivers. So the first time you pick up a load and you
deliver that load. That's really exciting. It's really nerve-wracking, but it's really exciting as well. And no matter what you have been seen or shown, doing it for yourself the first time on your own, it's an interesting experience. Next, the first time you travel somewhere really far away or that you don't know. So in my case, that would be Scotland. But for you, it might be going to Cornwall or Wales, or going to Norfolk, or going to Kent. The next one I've got is the first time you take a trip into central London. It's an interesting experience. It's very different to everywhere else. Next thing I've got is, on your bingo card, the first time you tramp in your van overnight. Linked to that, you might not do that, you might stay in a hotel or an Airbnb instead. It's the first time you do that. The next thing is the first time you get stuck in congestion and you're late for a delivery, and you have to therefore, if you're a good new courier, call the shipper. And yeah, that feeling of anxiety building up and knowing that you might do it and then realising you can't do it and then realising you've got to call, but when do you call? You know, are they going to be angry with you when you first call? How do you say it? Are they going to blame you? As a new courier, that's an experience you have to go through quite quickly. The first time that you get a job cancelled, that happened quite quickly. You'll get all ready to do a job, and then the shipper will call you and say it's cancelled. The first time you apply for a job on the CX, and then you realise it's not actually a real job. I had that a couple of times. In one day, I had that happen a couple of times. It's so frustrating. There was a job from Manchester to Birmingham, or vice versa, and it was great for me. And I put a good bid on, waited, rang the guy, and said, "Oh, is that still available?" And basically, all it was he put a message on the notes saying "Happy Eid" to all my drivers, and that was the job. It wasn't a real job at all. I found that really frustrating. And there's no need for it. If you want to send your drivers a message, send them a WhatsApp message. And that's not the only time that's happened, or something like that's happened. The first time that you complete what they call a backload. The first time you complete, legitimately, by the way, a co-load. The first time that you do a job at the weekend, or you complete a job at the weekend. Not including that, the first time you do a job at night, sort of, in the middle of the night, or the first time that you start really early in the morning. My earliest so far has been a 3 o'clock pickup, which meant I had to leave the house at 2 o'clock. I've done a few of those. First time that you do a job on a Friday and it takes you too far from home to get a job back. And therefore, the first time you do a job that you have to do more than 100 miles, dead miles, to get home. The first time that you visit certain places, I've got a list of things here you'll do for the first time. They're all very different. First time you visit a distribution centre, or a bonded warehouse, or a hospital, or an airport. The first time you might visit a ship, and I'm including that like a barge, like a barge, canal barge. First time you manage to visit a military base of some sort, be that submarine or Air Force or Army. First time that you break down and you have to deal with that. Now that's one of the ones I haven't done yet, and by not working tomorrow I'm hoping to avoid that. By losing my day's work tomorrow, that's what I want to avoid, breaking down tomorrow. The first time that you receive extra money for waiting, that's an interesting conversation to have for the first time. I found that really difficult, but now I'm a bit more decisive about it because I know the shippers expect it, and if they don't, they're not being professional, and I've got it in my terms. The first time, in the same way, you receive extra money for handballing. Same things. You've got to know what's right and have the confidence to ask for it. The first time that you get a cancellation fee, be that before you go to this pickup place or after. And I suppose one thing that I haven't done is a cancellation when you're on. Actually, no, I have had this. Yes, a cancellation. You can have a cancellation before you leave the house. Cancellation before you arrive at the pickup. Cancellation after you've got the goods. But you've not gone very far. We could have a cancellation when you're nearly at the place where you're delivering, and that's an interesting thing to deal with. I've done that once. The first time you get that wow moment when you're delivering somewhere, be that architecture or countryside, and that first moment is the first of many. The first time you pay a toll, could be a toll road or a toll bridge or a clean air zone. They're all over the place now. The first time that you use a ferry, that's not to go to Europe, that'd be to go to somewhere like an island like the Isle of Man or Jersey or Isle of Wight or the Scottish Islands or Northern Ireland. I've not done the ferry and I can't see myself doing that for a long time. That's the second thing I haven't done out of all these things. Finally, the first time you have to deal with a late invoice being paid. Unfortunately, you'll do that in your first month. And then finally I've got the first time you have to deal with someone who's just not going to pay you. And I'm not been in this game long enough yet to have that. So far everyone has paid once I've reminded them, but it is going to happen. There'll be someone that won't pay at all and you'll just lose the money or have to go to a small claims court to get it back. So that's the end of my new same day courier bingo. How many of those, if you're new, have you done? And there's loads more there to look forward to if you haven't done them all. As I said, that's not comprehensive. You'll think of loads more things that you do for the first time as a courier, positive and negative. That's my starting point for that. Thank you very much for listening to my video. I hope you're all very well out there. Oh yes, I must say, before I forget, I have got one more subscriber since yesterday. I'm now on 8. Thank you very much, number 8. You're a star. We've still got the Magnificent 7. They're the first 7. But you're a very special number 8. If you're watching this, thank you very much, superstar. Thank you then. Bye. Oh no, what have you learnt today? That's my catchphrase. Bye.